Hey, it's Dave. Welcome back to my channel. I want to talk a little bit about YouTube and figured I would do this video every once in a while where I talk about what I've been watching on YouTube and what's been interesting me. So I want to talk a little bit about this week, what I've seen on YouTube that I've enjoyed or not enjoyed. And this week it's all good. I usually watch every once in a while. Rick Beato does a video that I find is interesting. I tend to stay away from why this song, why is this song good or anything, because I find that it's mainly opinion stuff, and I know what makes a song good, and I just don't care. And I don't have enough time in my day to watch everything that is on there. But I did happen to catch him yesterday. I had got out of my drum student's lesson. I have one drum student that I mentor, and we were going over a Gino Vanelli song. We go over quite a few, and I think Gino is one of those artists that a lot of people ignore that is just great. I mean, he's awesome. And we were going over some songs on Brother to Brother and Nightwalker. And the thing about those two albums are, if they're not in your collection, they need to be. And then we were talking about Carlos Rios, and I was like, God, I wonder if I had his info in my phone, because I was friendly at one point, around 2004 to like 2006. I used to see him around Venice, and I was friendly with Carlos. And in fact, I got him to work with somebody that was, she was a singer looking for a guitar player, and Carlos was interested in the gig, and he ended up doing that. And, he was a real super nice guy, left-handed guitar player. And so I went to look up to see if he posted anything new on YouTube so I could get in touch with him just to say hello, whatever. And I saw Rick Beato play his Brother to Brother solo note for note, and I'm like, Rick's awesome. The guy's just awesome. That solo is incredible. And Rick knows a lot about music, and he backs it up. And I just like the guy's view on things. I don't necessarily always agree with him, but I definitely like it. I mean, I don't really care about talking modes when I play music, and when somebody would hire me for a session, we would never discuss that. We would just go in. But for the most part, I really like him. He's a great player, and I was really shocked to see him nail that solo, and to be a fan of that, to really dig Gino Vanelli stuff. I can't go into it enough. In fact, the drumming that Vinnie Colaiuta does on the Nightwalker album is so phenomenal, and Mark Craney's drumming on Brother to Brother is so phenomenal. They're two albums you have to check out. Anyways, also check out Rick Beato playing that solo. It's incredible. And then also I saw Rick doing a video about talking about replacement singers for bands like Bon Scott versus Brian Johnson. And I've talked about that a couple of times in my live shows. And I've done videos, I think, about that as well. And, we've talked about, Sammy versus David Lee Roth, and he talks about it. And they make some good points and good arguments. I think in the case of the Sammy versus Dave, I'm a Dave fan. I saw them both live. I actually saw the Sammy and Dave tour. And I saw them in Glendale, Arizona. And it was great. And Sammy Hagar crushed it. I mean, if there was a competition, Sammy Hagar won in a knockout. But when I think back of those records and what they mean to me, and just overall what they did for music, I think the David stuff is the superior stuff on record. Not to take away from Sammy, I think that version of Van Hagar, whatever you want to call it, is good. It's just not as iconic to me. Like, one band is super iconic and changed music for a generation, and then the 85 or 86, whenever the 5150 record came out, it was just a good band, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I've talked about that before, too, about like singers, bands that go out to try to find a singer that wants to keep the old stuff happening or a band that's moving forward. So I respect Van Halen for moving forward, going with Sammy and trying something different. The thing that Rick Beato was saying, they were saying that they think that Brian Johnson and Bon Scott are like similar singers, and I don't see that at all. I don't think they sound anything alike. I think, in fact, that they were going their own way a little bit, and probably at the persuading by Mutt Lange was to get a guy who had a little bit more power and could drive a bigger selling type of audience. Rick Beato also brings up like Alice in Chains and the William Duvall singing and how great that record is and why it's a big surprise. But I really didn't feel that Alice in Chains album was that big of a surprise since Jerry Cantrell basically writes all the material anyway. I mean, I think on Dirt there's like one or two songs that Lane Staley had his hand in. But for the most part, it was Jerry's band and Jerry's songs, and it would just kind of continue, I would imagine, and you just have to find a singer that can hold his own and that gels with that kind of music, and you should be okay. There are some other bands like Journey who have suffered with trying to find a new singer because I think they don't want to lose. They're too afraid to lose what they had behind them instead of looking forward, and that's a different thing altogether. I feel like Foreigner kind of in that same way. They didn't mention Bad Company. Bad Company kind of got a new 80s singer, and they had that run at it, which I thought they did pretty good for a few years. But overall, I've watched a few Rick Beato videos, and I've been enjoying that this week. And then the other night, I went to go see a few friends of mine that were in town, and one of my buddies that lives here, this guy Jack, was going off about this YouTube series called Yacht Rock, and there's 12 episodes. And he was describing it to me, and I was like, I wasn't getting it, but I'm like, and he kept saying, you have to trust me, it's funny. And I know him, and he's a funny guy, so I was like, okay. And I watched it, and I think it's hysterical. And if you get the chance, watch Yacht Rock. It's like a real low budget 12 episodes. Each episode's 5 minutes. It's so stupid with like talking about songs like by Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald and Toto. It's hysterical. And I've enjoyed the hell out of it. It's very funny. So that's kind of what I've been watching on YouTube this week. I always tend to watch some technical videos as well, but it's usually if I can't sleep at night, I'll throw something on about three-phase electricity or just some stuff that I'm just curious about. Once again, you got to see that Yacht Rock thing. It's hilarious. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Very good.